Welcome, everyone. I'm Jonathan Hollander of Battery Dance, and this is Battery Dance TV and our sequence of programs called Dance Diplomacy with Jonathan. And it's a subject very dear to my heart. And usually we go around the world and we're interviewing people in different continents and different countries. On this occasion, I'm delighted to have a New Yorker, originally from Argentina, Cordoba, Dardo Galletto, a well-known and well-respected choreographer, dancer, and teacher here in New York. And Dardo, it's such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm so happy to be here talking to you and to all of your audience.
Yeah. So, of course, we have been so proud to present your work in the Battery Dance Festival, most recently in the virtual festival with a lovely film. But previously, I can remember fondly a performance that you gave at Chase Plaza. It must have been many years ago. You had several, it was an entire repertoire at that time.
Yeah, it was a very good experience for us. I think it was 2005, 2004, something like that. And it was in the morning time in downtown, and it was beautiful opportunity for us to show our work, mostly at the beginning of the company.
You know, that was the first time that I became acquainted with you and your work. And I was introduced to you by Battery Dance long-term production designer and man of all trades who's helped us through so many different international tours and festivals, Barry Steele, because I think he had done lighting for you.
Well, I had also the opportunity to work with Barry, and was a great match. And we're still working together.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I also came to see your performance at New York Live Arts a couple of years ago. And I have to say, and also in your studio, I came to see a rehearsal. And I love the way that you blend tango with your own special touch of contemporary choreography. Tell us how did this come about, your transition from training, I assume, in Argentina, coming to New York. Tell us a little bit about your biography.
All right, I started to dance when I was 19.
19?
19, like
Wow.
mostly when I finished high school. I started the college, and there in the college I had a friend who, she was a dancer, and she saw me one day, and it looked like, she asked me, "Are you a dancer?" No, I was a swimmer. I was a swimmer for many years. And she bring me to her teacher, and I started to dance when I was 19. I always loved theater, but I always was thinking to start dance to complement my acting class. But dance took me forever, and later I moved to BA, and I was able to study in Teatro Colón, and
Wow.
I graduated from Teatro San Martin. It's mostly the contemporary dance school. And in Argentina, I had I was lucky to be able to work for Julio Boca Dance, o sea, Ballet Argentino, directing for Julio Boca. And later I moved to New York in 2001. I don't know,
San Martin and Cologne, these are the big names. These are the wonderful institutions in Buenos Aires. Battery Dance actually had the wonderful opportunity of working with San Martin as well. So I know the quality of the dancers, and I think the fact that you had this swimming background allowed you to just plunge in at a much higher level than most people would if they only started dancing at age 19, because your body was already limber.
Yeah, that is what my ballet teacher always told me. Like, I was lucky to do swimming before, like other sport is very not competitive,
Competitive, yeah.
Like many people in Argentina play soccer or hockey or tennis even. Swimming swimming training both sides of your body in the same way, very parallel.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, you know, there's a very famous American choreographer, the late choreographer Paul Taylor, who was at Syracuse University, and he was a swimmer as well. That was his background. I don't know whether you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
But another person who went to college and started dancing right away, had never studied dance before, that's Jonathan Hollander. So
Yeah.
you and I have a very similar path. Unfortunately, I was not the swimmer that you were. So I had more challenges in terms of getting my body ready for dance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I seen my sister start to dance when she was 8, and
Mm-hmm.
my father saw me like I was doing all of the stretching with her, and he
Ah,
bring me to swim, and I started swimming for 10 years,
wow.
and you know, life bring me to dance.
Well,
And
no one would know that you started late because you are an exquisite dancer, and your choreography, I have to say, is so inspiring and so innovative because of this tango and contemporary mix. And your dancers are obviously super ballet, contemporary, and tango. So is it hard for you to find dancers who can cover all of the vocabulary that you use?
it is hard to find the dancer who can become in love with mostly tango,
Mm-hmm.
and because tango is a very sophisticated dance.
It sure
It look
is.
like even if you have a strong ballet or a strong modern dance training,
Mm-hmm.
you have to take this language as a beginner,
Mm.
and it's like I'm in love with all of this what tango gives to us. You know, tango has like a very deep secret to discover, and it look like it's one of the main part people are missing in ballet or in modern dance. So when they come to tango and they are able to training, they discover like how lucky they are to have this new opportunity to meet with themselves, with the body in the way how they found. I think this is what is difficult for me to find dancer who have like open mind for a new opportunity to express themselves and break all of the rules they all already have.
Beautifully
You know?
said. I think I understand what you mean because I know when you start a different dance form, it's like you can't even walk. You forgot how to walk because you have to start
Yeah.
from scratch.
It's also tango bring you to face to be able to be in a relationship so close with another dancer moving too fast. So that means if you resolve that relationship, later you can resolve any other relationship. You know,
I do
because
know that finding the right partner in tango is sometimes a big challenge. We were very lucky to have Leah Barsky and Christian Correa in our festival a couple of years ago. Beautiful partnership. But I heard from other dancers who've been going around the world trying to find the right partner.
well, I mean, Leah Barsky, she started with me, with the company, and she performed in 2005 in the Battery Dance Festival, yes, in Chase Bank. And she, when she started, she didn't knew anything about tango, and she started to develop herself, and took maybe 10 years to find Christian. Because I mean, to find a partner is also, this is also what I say to my student. O sea, to find a partner also is how you say, a gift to when you develop yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be ready to find this other self who is mostly in the same level and where you can match and continue together. But you know, people sometimes they think, oh, I have to find my partner first and later grow together. And it doesn't work in that way, because you know you have to develop yourself and be ready to find that other self who are ready to have that foundation they can move together.
Mm.
And I mean, Christian has been dancing for many, many years, and he's also from Argentina, and he's surrounding to all of these Argentine women dancing tango. But Leah, she worked so hard, and she was able to be ready for Christian when she found him. And they are
A
doing
beautiful
wonderful.
story. Yeah, yeah. Well, we
Wonderful.
saw her, my daughter and I saw her in Evita at City Center. Of course, she was
Yeah.
not dancing with Christian at that time, but what a fabulous performer she is.
Yeah, so I mean that is also the point. When you develop yourself and you understand all of this flow, you can match with any other dancer who have the same foundation and the
Hmm.
same training, and be able to put the pieces together. All right. So my grandmother's generation, they also cannot develop themselves with another partner. There was the reality of them is look like they have one partner and they have to dance with that partner as long as the couple continue.
Mm.
And me at that point, you know, all of these women, they didn't have the opportunity to sign with different men as, you know, the now, you know, because Leah have her partner, Christian, but she's also able to dance with different other men who are able to respect each other in the way how the technique needed and the art, you know.
Now you're talking about this very, very high level of tango performers and dancers, but I know that you are also a teacher in New York, and I'm sure you come across people who have potential but aren't there yet. How do you find that? How do you find that working with perhaps people who are not professional dancers, but that you're trying to bring them into the vocabulary of tango?
I think when people meet me, when they found me, there are all these people, they always dream to dance. And, you know, maybe they found many other teachers before found me. But I think when you learn any language, it's very easy to find from the outside in.
Hmm.
It's clear. Doesn't mean tango, you cannot learn in that way, because you know many people start tango and the beginning look easy, but later when it start become more intermediate level or advanced level, they become more sophisticated and more difficult with the dynamic. And if they don't have the foundation, they will even be unhappy.
Mm.
Many of the people who I start to teach, they was unhappy already because they couldn't find a way how to grow up. And then for me, I teach from in to out. All right, and to say I teach how to meet all of the deal with the gravity, with the grounded, with the growing, with the center, with the core, with the periphery. I mean how to meet their body. And to say they find like with me, they have like a long-term training. This is why I was able to have a studio, because I have all of these students who take private mostly every day, and of course a private lesson is expensive, but they has training for long time, and they meet like, oh my god, I feel like a dancer now. But this is the magic of people who trust in training.
And it's hard work. I mean, they have to be ready to really work because, as you said, it's an incredibly sophisticated, complex form. It's not something that you just walk into, even if you have sort of innate
uh,
talent. And of course, let's say the music is something so important to tango. The rhythm, the music, um, anyone can understand the impulse that comes from that music.
yeah, it look like when people they don't feel their own body, their own sensation, their own dynamic, they cannot feel the music.
Mm,
Okay, and they even cannot express the music.
mm.
The this the music can be an inspiration at the beginning so you like the music, but the first of all, I always say you have to connect with your body, you have to feel your body, and you have to allow the music come in. It's like it's another body who come into your body. And
Mhm.
later, when you feel the music in your body, you will be able to learn all of the secrets of the music. But when you try to go into the music, when you even didn't go into your body, it's look
Mm.
like maybe you can follow the beat, but you know all those the tension we have in the body. It's like, o sea, no. I always recommend first start with yourself. I
That's
mean,
very
I take
interesting. You know, I think we all know that classical ballet is this remarkable combination. It requires a remarkable combination of lightness, the appearance of lightness and freedom, at the same time, this incredible strength to be dancing on point, to have that sense of core, and to be able to do these remarkable gymnastic almost movements at the same time to look like light as a feather. And I think
yeah,
tango is that same way, right? I mean, you have to
yeah.
be so relaxed, but at the same time have the strength and the sort of physics of the movement underneath, which is, I guess, the core.
Well, I mean that so we need to meet that relationship between what is heavy and light, what is down and up, what is forward and back. So when we are able to even deal with the gravity, we need to deal with the weight falling down to be able to have the light going up. You know what I mean? All of the concept of physical, sometimes it's not clear, very in the deep level, no? I'm talking in the deep level. So I mean, when we deal, as I always say, you can never be light so you don't understand the weight of the body, of the gravity, so the heaviness of the work. It's
I think
true
that,
what you said, because,
yeah,
ballet dancer look like very light when you see there to dance, but underneath is all of this pain, work, try to have a best relationship with the ground, with the flow.
so let's talk about the fact that this is National Hispanic Heritage Month. So it's a month in the United States where we're thinking about the culture that comes from Latin America. And of
Yeah.
course, the tango, the Argentine culture, you as an Argentinian in New York, how would you say that you relate to Hispanic culture, or do you? Have you got, being in New York, which is such a multicultural city, is it just something you don't even think about, or is it something that you feel is a very strong basis for your identity?
You know, honestly, I love to be Latin. I love my background. I love to be able to come from a culture like we kiss, we touch, we embrace, and we get all of these myths. You know, I love to be a Latin. I I cannot express that. But
That's
I
good.
also I also love to be able to be out of my culture, to be able to see my culture from distance and
Mm.
discover myself, to what part of myself is myself, or how much part of myself are consequent of my culture. So, I mean, be able to be outside of my culture, learn other culture, being like an immigrant, and at the end learn different new way to live, and later be able to choose what I like from my culture and what I don't like from my culture. I feel fortunate in that way,
That's very beautifully expressed. Thank you for sharing that.
and I feel now like also a different, like the young generation. When I go back to Argentina and I see, all of my nephew and niece, like they are, in their beginning 20s, with all of this globalization and internet, I think they even has more open mind like my generation had. So when you never leave your culture, this is good because I see in some part, so everybody will need to be an immigrant in one point. Everybody will need to be able to live our culture, to be able to see better who we are. but also these people, the youngest people, having possibility to connect with any other part of the world, they can see how other people live, how other people develop themselves, what other people have access to, and that helps to know who you want to be.
It's really fascinating. I,
Yeah.
you know, we're living through a time that's challenging in so many ways. We're living during the pandemic, and I know that this has had a devastating effect on you, that you had to give up your studio. How many years had you had your studio?
10 years, 10 years,
10
yes.
years.
It's
Well,
so painful, yeah, like, yeah.
I'm sorry to bring it up, but I think that our audience needs to know what kind of challenges that we artists are facing in the United States. That if you are having a studio and you're teaching, but people can't come and take your class because of the social distancing, and you're talking about the intimacy of tango, and at the same time, we're told don't get within 6 feet of anybody else and wear a mask. How can you feel that intimacy when we're in a time of social distancing? So obviously this is a time of transition for you. You know, I wish for you, with all of your talent as a dancer, as a choreographer, and as a teacher, I'm sure you will land on your feet, figuratively and otherwise, that because you have so much in your portfolio. But at the same time, I know what it is to build something and to then see it go away. So you know, I commiserate with you. We have 2 dance studios here that were empty for since March. Slowly, people are coming back and filming in our studios, but dance studios are not really permitted to operate at their normal capacity. So we're all waiting and seeing what's going to happen here in New York. And I'm just wondering, I'm curious, have you been in touch with your family and your colleagues in Argentina? How are things going for them there?
Well, I mean, this is also as bad as here, yeah, for artists. People have been not dancing from March.
Wow.
Even now, they are start to be in spring. So many cities still in phase 1 of the COVID. It look like the government don't allow people to move.
Mm.
Okay, so it's difficult. So I have friends who are no professional dancer. They are doing another job. No, like they are doing deliveries. If they have car, and they are, well, of course, they are trying to do all of these online classes and shows, but
It's not the
it's not
same.
even, it's not the same. Even the milongas in Buenos Aires, the milonga is like the main life for milongueros, and they are not very sad.
I can imagine. It's like emotionally, psychologically, something so critical to your pulse of life is taken away from you.
Yeah, I, I mean, I still working with some of them, and I always ask, and they say, no, you cannot even meet people, like
Mm.
the social distance, and I mean, they are not dancing at all.
And I think that for a dancer to stay in shape and stay in like tip-top condition at home in a small room or whatever is really, really difficult. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline.
Yeah, yeah, and you can do it maybe for a little while, but it's just so long. It is difficult.
And we haven't seen the end of it. I mean, you're saying if in Argentina, if they're in phase 1, they've got to get to phase 2, 3, 4. Maybe as they get into summer, maybe it'll ease up a little bit. I hope for the people there.
Yeah, as I mean, now they are leaving the winter, and they are in spring, the beginning of spring, but it look like like many cities still in phase 1.
Mm. Well, I'm
Yeah,
afraid that
and,
we may be in
and
for that
it's
in New
difficult.
York.
it will be difficult for Argentinian to re-educate, like don't kiss, don't touch, don't embrace.
Oof.
Like even when the people start to feel a little bit warm from the summer, it will be also tough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I will say is that on behalf of Battery Dance, we have tremendous respect for you. We look forward to working with you in the future in all kinds of different ways, new ways that we didn't even imagine before. So thank you for joining us here on Battery Dance TV and sharing something of your identity during National Hispanic Heritage Month, but also as a one-on-one conversation with Dardo Galletto, the legendary tango choreographer, dancer, teacher. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. And we're looking forward to continue together.
Thank you.